here to there.
It's the
And
roughest
that's
stretch.
800 feet, or that one there is like way over. Yeah, because they're doing 8,000, so it's 3,000 feet over, so it'll be 3,000 feet less.
So need to request,
Right,
a new
right,
quote from them.
right.
Okay.
And that way, Joe will have the culverts, he'll give us the list on the culverts. If we go past that, he'll have to do the 36-inch culvert, which will require
The bigger equipment.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it will even save there.
So so it'd be about just a mile.
I ran the speedometer on Sue's car is pretty accurate. Exactly a mile from.
Well, we've also got that fancy GPS that
Hooks
scans
to the truck, yeah, I mean, you can get the measurements off the hit, but I mean, that's just, it's a mile.
Yeah, and that'll make that stretch a lot better because
Yeah.
that's the roughest, and that's
Right.
there's so many people that use it.
Well, I'm worried about trailer coming unhooked and killing
Yeah.
somebody. It's bad.
So I will have to call them and see about getting a new quote based on a different.
Yeah, just the
number
mile.
of footage.
Yeah.
Okay. So that sounds pretty good because, we're trying to keep everything
Right. Right.
under control.
Well, that'll keep it less than.
Yeah. All righty. So that's from our to-do list. Do we want to consider the tax incentive for solar, wind, and affordable housing again from last year, or?
We can do it. We need to have a better explanation. And I think what really is confusing everybody is you say that the people get this much of a break in their taxes. That's not what's happening. What's happening is Avatar comes in, they see the solar panels and they don't charge you for them. It's that simple. I mean, personally, the government taxes too much of the shit that I do to my house. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
If we can make it that something people can do to bring money into their house to save finances and stuff and make it so that it's not costing them. I mean, the tax on $600 a panel, it comes out to what? A few bucks and everything, but it eats up what you're making in the power. And the way the state actually has it written, it says, well, they're getting the full value of it off their taxes and everything. And it seems like, okay, you're getting 20 grand worth of credit on your taxes, and that's not it. What it is they're just not, it's like you have a shed, they're gonna tax you for the shed if they see it. Well, that's gonna make it so that solar panels, they're not gonna look at. So it's not like everybody else is gonna have to make that difference up on the few people that have it now. There's a few bucks that.
Yeah, I think there's about 12.
Right. But in the future, it's not like they're getting extra money or they're getting extra credit. All they're doing is they're not being taxed for it. I mean, yeah, it's $600 a panel, and that eats up value. So they take your tax based on that, but still that eats up the few, what you're making, saving it. And I mean, my Native American's going to kick in here, but we got to get off of coal and oil. We got to get into this other stuff. This fusion thing might be really cool, but that's still 50 years away.
10, 15, yeah.
Yeah.
The latest thing came out of.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it when I saw it. I was like, yes.
Yes. I haven't done anything more with that dirt road sealing material yet. I've got to talk with Joe on it.
Joe liked the idea. You mean the crust? Joe liked the idea. He said it doesn't drop. He said mud season. He says it'll hit, it'll drop, they'll pack it, and it'll stay. He said there's some towns that have lost there's certain areas that are messed up.
Yep.
He said those really messed up areas in some of these other places that have used it, they're normal.
So.
Now he said the cost isn't bad, it's the trucking.
Yes.
What's that?
Pardon?
What was that?
Well, there's this material from a company, TerraZyme, that they can put on dirt roads that firms them up to the point where they don't seem to break down as much through the winter and especially in the springtime and mud season. I'm not quite sure how it all works, but I've seen a couple of videos on it, and it takes a little bit of work because you have to put the material down and you have to basically till it in and then pack it and then soak it down with water. But it seems to really anchor the material together so it just becomes that oozing mess that we have so many times on some of the bad roads.
Is it expensive?
I don't know the exact cost yet. We need to do some assessment of how much we want to do and basically try a small section first before we just jump into it.
Just ballpark talking to Joe, he said it's not that much more than Blue Cross or anything like that. It's just about the same as that. He said the trucking is the issue. It's like United's $250, $300 to haul it back from Lebanon and stuff. You know, that's where it tags up, is to get, you know, any distance, you're gonna need several loads and stuff. But you can get a better accurate number. Joe said it's not actually that bad for what it's gonna say. I don't know. You'd have to ask Joe. He's,
Yeah,
I'd never
we're just
heard
starting
of it.
to
I'd never
look at
thought of it. Yeah.
Is there anything else from the audience? Yes.
Well, I just want to say hello and thank the voters of Croydon and Claremont that elected me as one of the three representatives from District 6. The other two, John Cloutier from Claremont and Gary Merchant also from Claremont. I'm from Claremont. But I enjoy coming to these meetings and getting to know people in the process in Croydon. I'm going to post a couple of cards up on the board here, so if people have a question, have a concern, have a problem, they can give me a call. And my phone is, doors open to Claremont, Croydon, equally. Basically, if you need to have any information, a good source is Genworth. State.nh.us, or just type in Genworth, New Hampshire. The laws, there's about 800 LSRs, legislative service requests at this point. Probably going to go to 1,000, but you can get the whole list and see what's going on for 2023. And also for elected representatives and other information about government, the Senate, Council, the Governor's Council, the House, and Congress. So that's a good source for all kinds of information about your government in Congress. And I just want to say thank you again, and everybody has a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
Yes.
I talked to Joe this morning about the culvert issue.
I asked the board about it the last meeting, I believe.
Now, is that on your road?
Correct.
I didn't know anything about it, but where's it at?
It's up where all the campers were.
Okay.
Okay. When it was installed, it was too small. It was actually set out into the road. It's not being maintained, so it's plugging up and washing the road out. My understanding is culvert at the driveway is owned by property owner.
Right, and they're
Their
responsible.
responsibility to maintain it.
Right.
So I asked the board the process. I'd like to get it removed. I talked to Joe this morning, and just Russ had spoke with him, and he said, "Oh, he said it's an obstacle that's creating issues." What I'd like is I'd like to ask the board if they would notify the landowner.
Do you have their address?
I don't.
It's the one with the campers. I know the one. I could take something up there.
If,
Well, you and I can go up, take a look, and
Okay,
then we
yeah.
can make sure we know the map and lot, get all the info,
Okay.
and send
Yeah.
out.
when Cheryl was alive, she took care of it. She passed it to her daughter before she passed away. and nothing's been done.
Okay,
Now, is that the culvert in the driveway or is that's the one in the driveway? Okay.
okay.
Yeah. So there's
So-
no need to.
So I guess what I'm asking is before I go ahead and remove it, I'd like the courtesy of the select board to send
We will.
her a letter.
Yeah, I think that's the proper thing to do.
Response back.
Yeah.
Our issue is probably going to be until spring.
Right.
So it gives us a little bit of time.
Yep.
Well, if this winter keeps up the way it is, it may be the
It
issue.
may be sooner, but.
Yeah. I'll be home all day. You can holler with you
Tomorrow?
up there. Yeah.
Okay. Because I want to look,
At this point, yeah, that will be.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a ditch.
Yeah. It's going to be up to them to fix their
It wasn't
driveway.
installed permanently.
so we ought to look at it as soon as possible before a whole bunch of snow hits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so,
we'll go up tomorrow. I'll be home.
So
I'll-
that's how I want it presented.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree completely.
I
Absolutely.
think it's the right way.
Nobody should be just going in and doing things that people find out about it later.
Right.
He just doesn't want to get chased down the road with.
I've been looking for her all summer, and she hasn't been there.
Really?
The 2 times she was there for 15.
Now, are they there now or no?
They haven't been. So the 2 times that they did show up, no neighbor contacted me. By the time I got back, they were gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, we can take
Yeah.
care of that.
What is the name of that road?
I'm sorry?
What's the name of the road?
Hayward.
Thank you.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Yep. No problem. Don't forget to keep track on the hassles you're going through.
at
on
this
the-
point, we haven't had any 4-wheelers
Right.
in 2 years,
Yeah.
so we're golden with that.
Yeah, because that's been, when the board first set it down, the other board, Carol and them, she said that they want, complaints and everything to list up, because if it's not followed, they're gonna, pull it out.
So,
We're still the same way.
we've got one of our neighbors that has contacted me. He's now in a position to put $6,000-7,000 into the road next spring.
Hmm.
So,
100 yards? 100 yards?
well,
Sometimes it might even go down.
actually, it's more than we've ever heard.
Really? That's cool.
So.
That's cool.
We want to benefit, but we also want to do it right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you don't want to lose what you
Yeah.
put in.
And
Right.
we try to do it right.
I understand. I got a 500-foot long driveway, and just getting a few loads of the bluestone put in is,
So I have a lot.
Just my little one was like,
yeah,
just my little one.
yeah. It's amazing how short a distance this stuff goes.
It goes pretty short.
Yeah.
So,
What's the guy that know what they're doing?
Oh, I was amazed at the guy that was doing the trucking. He set his body at the right angle at the bottom of the hill, opened the chain just enough, and one pass up, and it was just. If
Have
I
you seen
don't,
Little Joe? Little Joe does it backwards. And he'll drop it in front of him. Oh, yeah, he's awesome with it. He's awesome. I can tailgate going forward, going back that's a little trick, yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, it's a pleasure watching somebody that really can operate a piece of equipment like that. So, all right, so yes, we will. So I will get,
Yeah, just give me a call and I'll head up there.
okay, because that way I can even show you some pictures of the breakers, all Christmas stuff.
Oh, yeah, because it wasn't Christmas.
No,
It was Halloween.
They do a nice job.
Yeah.
And if there's nothing else,
I'm just curious, this step, so I'm just curious, were there any talks with anybody else, or is it just like a one and done?
Well, Gaston and, we can.
somebody in Gaston was gonna get us a quote, and then we never got a physical quote.
Yeah, it's.
And they just kept on going, so.
I mean, our preference is to keep it in town.
Right, yeah, I understand that, I didn't know if there was like.
Yeah, no, Gaston was another person that does it.
In a town or a town doing something like that, to see if anybody was interested in doing it, another estimate like that, or if that was even necessary.
was the Newport well addressed by the board?
Did we get a letter in?
No,
Because
we
you said
didn't.
you were gonna craft it up.
I went back and I looked at the paperwork, and I realized by the time that we we talked about it, the date closed, because it was the 9th of December that it was
The
closed.
19th.
And we were gonna deal with it.
Oh, we'll deal with it at the hearing then.
So, no.
I know they got the message.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think the other part of the point is not just the state, but we need to work at getting a list of people that are
Involved.
zone.
Everybody
And
in
get
that
that
zone.
list to Hunter, Rising down in Newport, so that we can keep him.
Because all
appraised, and
those
we
are the
want,
ones that,
you know, make sure that the people are being
Monitored. yeah, every one of them.
Because I think we get more work locally than we will from the state.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
You're down on the bottoms, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm,
Yeah. Yeah,
at the
yeah,
top, kind of at the top end of it.
Right.
Second one before you put through.
Yeah.
Right after yesterday. But I guess I suppose the guy, when they were here, and I mean, he was curious because I had double in their team, so he was very interested, so he took many info and everything. Because he was kind of curious, but on the other hand, they were like, he had made a statement about anybody on the other side of the river really shouldn't be affected, because he said the way the water tables are, the river kind of splits everything.
right.
So, and like I told him, I'm right on the other side of the river, I'm like directly on the other side of the river.
Well, you-
Double right there in their team.
Yeah, well, you go on his drawings alone,
Kind of curious about it.
his drawings alone negate that statement. Just
That's
look at
right.
his drawing.
Just his science of things made it sound like
Yeah,
what on the other side of the river shouldn't be affected, but it didn't seem how that was quite
yeah,
possible.
no, you can't take half a bowl of water out, you know?
Water, gonna come from
Yeah.
It just stops traveling under there.
Yeah,
Wizardry.
so if there isn't anything else planned for next Tuesday here,
absolutely.
Well,
I mean, we can even have it in the back.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause-
because the biggest thing I want to be working on is finalizing the
Budget.
budget stuff. Yes,
So there's a lot of controversy about multiple meetings the same night. Tonight, there's a meeting about the school policy,
yeah,
and people are upset that they chose to have it the same night as the select board meeting.
well, there's a lot of
And,
people that are doing that. And
and people feel that it's done maybe on purpose, maybe not.
In some cases. it
In some
seems like
cases.
it could be,
So being that it's a school board meeting that's already scheduled, is there a way you
there's another
can do
one.
it earlier?
on when?
So the monthly school board meeting is next Tuesday here.
Ah,
The one that is tonight is a committee meeting that was scheduled
Yeah,
one-off.
And they're asking that the next one that's scheduled for in January would be a conflict. They're trying to ask that they change that, because they don't want multiple meetings at the same time. So if they could be at
Yeah, I
a
mean,
different time,
we-
the same night, or a different time, so it's not a conflict.
Yes, that way people don't have to choose which means the,
Right.
yeah.
Not saying that everybody's gonna show up at every meeting.
no, I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
Well, I mean, it's like pretty much everybody could fit in the back if we had to, you know, if
Issue.
we
But
had
it's the
hours.
same
Places
time
at the
as
same
the school.
time.
Yeah,
board.
right.
Saying you can't be in both.
Right, but it's like, I'm not, you know, I mean, ours is gonna be a work session, so it's like, it's really all we're gonna work on. You
Yep.
know, I mean, anybody can come in to watch, but it's not like it's gonna be, you know. a regular-
Well, we can meet at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I think they're meeting at 6:30.
What time are they starting?
6:30?
Started at
6:30.
6:30.
They won't be changing, I was up there earlier, they won't be changing their meeting times from the second Tuesday of every month. They won't be changing, or altering that day. So.
Well, then see, the thing that this is, they used to use Big White all the time, and there was never a conflict when they were using Big White.
Yep.
And when, for some reason, they have decided to stay using Town Hall, and that created a conflict. So if, it's like, the conflict was created by them.
So I want to say the conflict isn't the building,
Right.
it's the attendees. It's people who want to.
Right, but what I'm saying is,
Can I talk for just
Yeah.
3 seconds? I'm
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. The problem is that the town now wants to be more aware of what is going on. They want
Right.
it to be more
right,
public. And so we can't be at more than one meeting at the same time. So if school board and select board is at the same time, people have to choose which one is more important to them. And things are happening behind the scenes, not necessarily here, but in the other meetings
Okay.
that people need to be aware of.
So has the school always been meeting on Tuesday nights as well?
The third,
But they have always been meeting at Big White.
No, I'm just trying to question the date.
yes.
Right, but that's
Yes.
what I'm trying to say. They have always met the same times at Big White. When everything happened and they started coming here, that's when the conflicts came, because they never used the town hall for a school board meeting. They always used White, always.
Okay,
Now,
you're
it's
not
too
hearing
small.
what we're asking.
No, I am. Here.
I'm not understanding then.
Okay, I'm just saying that you're asking why the conflict. The conflict was created when the school decided to use town hall for their meetings, because they have always been on the same schedule.
Okay, now, just hold on.
Right.
What's their schedule? The third Tuesday?
Right.
Okay. So the problem becomes an issue when we try to add a meeting on the third Tuesday.
Right, the issue is learning everybody's, having a schedule of everybody's. Because in the planning board, we've made meetings and come to find out somebody else has it at the same time. We've had zoning board have meetings when we were supposed to have meetings. They didn't have a quorum, so we got to have the meeting. And it's just, nobody checked with anybody else. And the thing with our meetings, they're posted all the time. School boards posted all the time. Granted, our work session thing is another issue. But my big point is, the only thing that ever created the issue is there's nothing we can change other than watching the third Tuesday, because it has never been an issue until they decided to use this building. That's when it became an issue. And we have to watch the third Tuesday. We have an issue with the zoning board because they just come up with an idea and have it whenever they want.
So our option would.
Well, we can have our work meeting any other time.
Yeah, and that's what I'm.
But I mean, as far as the reason for creating the conflict, isn't something of somebody trying to hide something. It's the fact that the school board meeting finally got attendance and got too big for Big White, and they had to start using this building. That's what created the third Tuesday conflict. That's what I'm trying to explain, what created. Because there's nothing, no one is intentionally trying. The creation was the fact that people started to get involved, is what created conflict, because they never had enough people to use this building.
So let me get in contact with Amy and see if she's available on some other nights and stuff. Yes.
So the conflict isn't about what's going on behind the scenes with this particular board or anything else. People want to be more involved.
And that's what created the conflict.
People want to be more
Right.
involved
Yeah.
with every board.
Right. So, I mean, it comes down to, we'll change our
I
meeting.
would love to be at that other meeting.
Right. Well, see, we'll change our meeting and stuff. But my thing is I got a little miffed when somebody suggested, behind the scenes. And it's like, no, it's the fact that people did get involved that caused the issue. Because nobody was involved. I went to the school board meeting probably 5, 6 times. There might have been 2 people over the board. Same with this. Now, how many people were at the last school board meeting?
Depends on what subject. If it involves the budget, that building right now is packed.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Well, that committee's actually been renamed. That's the Sustainability Committee.
No, that was last night.
Oh, that was the one last night. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, see, even years before, there would have been maybe 4. And everything fit in Big White. It's actually an awesome conflict. Like I said, I got miffed when somebody said there's things going on, because it's not. It's the fact that people got involved.
Well, the other
And that
thing
should be,
That's a positive.
right, that's a good problem.
The other thing is, there's no one place that we could all have our meetings posted so we can check to see if they're used.
Well, there should be. Everybody should post it there
Well,
and over there.
Yeah, because it's like when everybody schedules their meetings, is there any way for? like,
There isn't anything at this point.
Not yet.
And not official. None of it's
No, I mean,
official.
like when, like the area board like schedules their meeting roughly when they're going to have them, is there any way to make that so like they can check to see if there's every?
At this point,
Can people speak to each other?
the boards need to work together to figure out a
Well, I mean,
common.
like the school's an easy one. That's third Tuesday. We just don't have any work meetings there. The issues with the zoning board and stuff are matters of they need to start, talking to other boards before they just hit, randomly pop up a meeting. They need to check with others and stuff.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's not that, like I said, we're not trying to say things are being done wrong here or whatever, obviously, we hopefully get rid of those problems, but, it's just, this has nothing to do with where they're at, it's just that.
At the same
There be at different
Right,
times,
right.
so it can be like they're.
Yeah, no,
they
the-
wanna talk about like the tuition.
Right.
The policies where tuition money is going, so which obviously is important to a lot of people.
Right.
As far as the school
well,
side.
and like I said,
But
they're,
There's this board meeting as well. So
Right.
They have to choose which one they want to be at. They
Right.
don't want the meetings to be at the same time. It
Right.
doesn't matter where.
yeah, no, it's,
They want to be at the same time so they can be at either one or both.
the problem has been the work schedule meetings. Zoning board shouldn't actually meet unless there's an issue. They have to work on some things. Planning board is set by the state to meet every first Wednesday at 7. We've had 3 or 4 work meetings a month sometimes. This one that we're rescheduling for the school is the same thing. It's a work meeting. I mean, our regular scheduled meetings. Problem has been work sessions and getting them in.
Okay, now, hold on a second. The whole issue is, nobody can look at one place and figure out.
Right, but it should be, everybody should post there.
Well, that's your opinion on that. We also have a website now that should be able to.
But that's not legal. Unless we make it. And then it has to
We
be,
need to.
then it has to be done accurately from the point that we start. We can't say we're going to and then start and then stop. We have to be prepared to go solid because otherwise it's not official to the state. That's in the RSA's.
One of our steps that we need to work on is communicating with the other boards.
Right, right. And that's all fine. But until that website is up, properly run, where it can be
I
legal.
understand.
We have to do something here. And it's still technically any meetings that aren't regular or fine, like ours have to be posted. We post them out here and everything else, our members are posted. Planning board's technically the only one that doesn't have to because for their regular meeting, because it's set by the state. Other than that, everybody else should be posting in here at this town hall. Because two places, town hall or, and even after we approve the website, it's town hall or the website. Website is absolutely useless at this point. I mean, it's gonna be when it works, but we have to be prepared. We can't stop. We have to have everything work.
Well, I understand what you're saying.
So that's gonna take time. In the meantime, posting out here and making it mandatory is the only way that we're gonna be able to walk in and see when the other meetings are. And then we need to contact the other heads.
Hang on, okay, you've had enough to say for now, I can teach
Fine.
these other people. Ed,
It's the word, it says at least 2 places, right?
It has to be 2 places. One is a town hall.
Okay, all right, so if it's at least 2 places, even if it's tentatively online, on the calendar.
It's not official unless everything's prepared to go, because the statement in the electronics is you have to do it continually.
I understand.
Cannot stop and start. And what I'm saying is that infrastructure has to be set up in place so that we don't get in trouble for letting something fall through. If you can't get through to a form or you can't get the proper information, we're liable. That's why the website isn't, the website is not approved by the state. It says so in the RSA. It says so. It doesn't count.
okay, we're circles of this.
Oh, no, I know, but I'm just,
But I guess
We're
what I'm
wasting our time.
What I
So,
was getting at was, even though it's officially posted in town hall and at the store, can Can't you still voluntarily post it online?
Yes, but we can't be held for that being accurate.
That's fine.
Even something that's 90% accurate is.
But if both posts on the website show that the meeting's at the same night, what does that solve? We need something that the people can look at, that our board can look at, so that when it hits the street, regular person knows, okay, this is the meeting, this is the time. You know, because right now, you know,
We're having an argument, we're not having any solution.
no, we're not. We're not having an argument. We're not having an argument, because the point is, we have to put something here
I
until we
understand
get
that.
the
You've
website.
said that multiple times now. and I
Right, well
understand.
then what's the problem?
We're just wasting time.
Well, yeah, I know. That's why I've been repeating myself for the last 15 minutes. I mean, I sound like a broken record, because I've said the same thing for 15 minutes.
Then let's adjourn the meeting.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. But you're the one that said that that's my opinion about it being out there. It's not, it's the state's.
Question on the website, I looked at that last week, because I wanted to get an idea of what the meetings were in December.
Right.
Is there a problem with the website?
It's brand new, and we,
Yes.
We're just getting,
right. Well, that's the biggest problem. We can't make it official until we have that stuff set to run. Yeah, it's brand new. We've had it, what, 2 months maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe. You
and what
know,
we're
and
working
he's,
on right now is getting different people signed up so they can do the editing on the pages.
how long was that class you went to?
A couple hours. The biggest problem I've had is trying to get Kim signed up. Burkhammer,
Yeah.
because she uses the same program as Lebanon.
11.
So she's very knowledgeable running it and working on it. I've contacted them. She tries to get on and she can't. And this is the third time
Yeah.
today. So we're going through growing pains right
Yeah, see,
now.
that's the issue with the website.
I know for us to monitor, to be able to see what your activities and meetings are on the website,
Right.
instead of having to drive by and get a posting, it's really helpful that way.
Well, that's what we're trying to get up to, but the state's so strict on you have to keep it up. We can't, you know, once we start and say it's official, once we call it official, it has to continue. So we can't have these glitches and stuff like that. You know?
It's been a long week.
Yeah, big time, big time. I mean, we had one that was, I mean, the original one was, it was there. It was a decent effort, but I couldn't get into it, just from the other side, you know.
And this is one that's formatted for other towns within the state. And
We're using a
well, right.
Yeah.
We're using a company that is representing a bunch of different towns throughout the state.
Civic Plus, I
Yeah.
think. They might even.
If you go down to the bottom and see who's running the pages at different websites, you'll see how many times Civic Plus shows up. It's just that their editing abilities take a little to understand and to work with. And so in order to make it easy for the people to edit up, it makes for a more complex learning process, because you're keeping questions minimized so you don't have everybody having access to everything.
It'd be like
It would
Office
end up
when
like
we get done.
Facebook would do.
like Microsoft Office, everybody would be like, do, 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 do. But beginning, it's like, what's this for?
But we've had enough on the discussion,
It's fine.
so I entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I second the motion. All in
Aye.
favor? Aye.